Welcome. In this session, we will discuss the APPSC Group 2 examination recently held for 2024. Now, we'll be discussing some of the different kind of questions which were asked. We would be going across typical problems which were asked, and these are really important for your CSAT paper 2. The complete course for the CSAT paper 2 is available in the link below. So, one of the questions that was here is AB multiplied by DED gives AB. Now DED should be, either of these numbers should be 1 in order to preserve this AB status, right? So let me consider D as 1, E as 0 and D as 1. So I take DED as 101 and then I multiply it with AB. For AB I can take any number. So let my AB be 47 or any such numbers. Okay, so this gives me 707 and this gives me 404. So it becomes 4747. That is again AB. Now with this I can prove that yes, D is 1 and E is 0. Right? So I repeat the same exercises for various numbers and I get the answer. Now it says DED plus DEDED. Okay, so 101 plus 10101 plus 1001, that is DED, right? So it is 1001. Now when I add these numbers I get 3, 0, 2, 1 and 1, that is DDF. 2 is now F. Okay, E is again 0 and G is 3. So what is F into G? So F into G is 2 into 3. So 2 into 3 is what? The answer is 6. So my correct answer here becomes 6. So that was one question that was asked. The next is another interesting problem. Now Sunita is working as a deputy collector and has a monthly salary. So what we'll do is we'll write the salary here. Then we'll have the three heads, which is personal, medical and charity. In the first case and in the case when the person gets the new salary, right? So initial salary is 74,000. I take P is 70% of her salary, right? So 70% of 74,000 I calculate. That comes to 51800. Now M is 20% of P. Now of the personal savings that she has, of the personal expenses, right? 20%. So 20% of this. So 20% of this would give me 10360, and then C is 15% of M. So of this value, when I calculate 15%, I get 1554. Now when I sum these up and subtract it from the salary, I get my savings, and my savings turn out to be, I have calculated it for the easy settings here. So 10286, right? Now in the new case, the salary hike is there for 60%. So 60% of this added to the original 74,000, it gives me 18,400. Now of this I again maintain the same percent of P. So of this I have again 70%. So 70% of this gives me 82880. Then 25% of P. Of this I calculate 25%, which is 20720, and of this I calculate 20%, which is going into the charity, which is 4144. Now I add all these values and subtract it from 118400. So I get 10656. Now the question asks, what is the difference between the two savings? So 10656 minus 10286, and that gives me 370. So 370 becomes my correct answer here. So this is a kind of question. Now this kind of questions, the most important thing which is required is what? The most important thing which is required here is understanding fast calculations, right? So if you are able to do the fast calculations and you don't commit silly mistake, right? So read the question carefully, because it says M is 25% of P, right? So M is 25% of P, and then 20%, C is 20% of M. So it is 20% of M. So that has to be taken into account, right? Now here, a very interesting question. The question asks about capital city of a country. Now this has to be a 4-letter country. So Peru can be the country. And for Peru, the capital is Lima. You can directly go to this answer. But let me say how the Peru would be. So I add 2, 2 and 1. So this is 5, and the fifth alphabet in English is E. Similarly, you have 16 and 5, 21. So the 21st alphabet is U. Similarly, I take 12 and 6, that is 18. So 18th alphabet is R, and here it is 9 and 7, 16. 16th alphabet is P. So P, E, R and U. Peru is the country, and the capital of that country is nothing but Lima. So very interesting question, a different kind of question that has been asked here. Now again, here there are some sets which have been given. You have to identify the rule. So it says 2, in bracket there is 4, then 3, and this equals to 14, right? Now understand, it's not required that you have all the numbers into account, right? I simply take 4 square minus 2. That is 16 minus 2, that gives me 14. In this case, it is 6 square minus 4, that is 36 minus 4, that gives me 32. Here, I have 7 square minus 5, that is 49 minus 5, which gives me 44. Here I have 8 square minus 6, which is 64 minus 6, that gives me 58. So 58 becomes the right answer in this case. So again, a very direct question, but yes, you need to understand how you need to solve these kind of problems that are asked. Now, this is a really interesting problem. It is a problem based on direction, but not a simple problem. So here it says dollar signs means north, and means east, star means west, and then you have the direction for the and, which is actually the south, right? So the percentage sign here is the south, right? At the rate stands for directly in the middle of the horizontal line, and exclamation stands for vertical line, right? So if it says A6M $8, that means A is 6 meters to the north of D, since the dollar is north, right? Understanding this expression based on what we have given. So B is 12 meters north of S. I keep on writing. B is 12 meter north of S, right? Then S is 5 meters, star is west. So S is 5 meters west of R. R is 3 meters. Then it is and sign, and is east, right? So east of J. J is 6 meters south of A, right? And then 6 meters south of K, sorry, right? Not A, K, right? And K exclamation JT, that means K stands in the middle of the vertical line JT. So K is in mid of JT, which is a vertical line. So I take a vertical line here. This line I write it as J and T. And K is exactly in the middle of it. Now J is 6 meters south of K. So this is 6 meters. And this is exactly in the middle. So this is again 6 meters. Now R is 3 meters east of J. So from here I take 3 meters. And this is R. Okay, from J it is 3 meters to the east. S is 5 meters west of R. So from R it is 5 meters. So I have 2 meters here more. From R 5 meters. So 2 plus 3 is 5. And this is S. Now B is 12 meters north of it. So B is here. And it is 12 meters north of it. That is, it is parallel to T, right? Now what is the shortest distance between S and T? So I have to find out the distance between S and T. So I have to calculate this hypotenuse. Now this distance is what? This is 12 and this is 2. So it would be 2 square plus 12 square under root, and that would give me the hypotenuse, which is the shortest distance between S and T, right? Now here 12 can be written as 2 into 2 into 3 the whole square plus 2 square under root. So 2 into 2 the whole square. So I have 4 outside, and 2 square plus 3 square, which is 4 plus 9, which is 13. So 4 root 13 would be the correct answer here. Okay, so this is how you solve this problem. That's it, and these kind of questions are often asked. Now the question is on assumption and one is on conclusion that we have taken. So assumption question says civic authorities have decided that all the factories inside the city limits must be shifted outside to reduce the pollution. Now why this has been taken into account? What is the reason behind it? Now the very important reason, the assumption we have to understand, right? What you have assumed when you are saying you are shifting the factories outside the city boundaries. Now if you say in the future the pollution would reduce, it may or may not reduce, because we have not proved that the pollution is only because of the factories. It could be because of the traffic, it could be because of other phenomena. So we cannot say if we are shifting the factories outside, by all means the pollution would reduce. So this assumption does not hold true. Many of the factories may shift to some smaller towns to remain profitable. Nothing has been implied like this, because the idea is to reduce the pollution within the city premises. But if I am saying there is enough land outside the city limit for the factory, that is implicit, because if it is not the case that outside areas do not have land, you cannot shift the factories. You can shift the factories only when you have land outside. So 2 becomes an implicit assumption here. Right? So 1 is not an implicit assumption, 3 is not an implicit assumption, only 2 is an implicit assumption. Now the next question is a conclusion question. So here the statement says 2 industrialists, Shyam and Mohan, have industries right next to each other. They have been working hard for development and both manufacture exactly the same product with equal time, same material and equal labor. Right? But at the sales we see Shyam has better sales than Manoj. What is the reason? Can we conclude that the quality of material used by Manoj was not good? No, because it is saying you use the same material. So this conclusion automatically becomes incorrect. The second conclusion says that the power cut ruined the quality of Manoj's product. We don't know whether it was power cut or any other factor because of which the Shyam has a better sale. It could be because Shyam is doing more marketing. It could be because Shyam has more networking. It could be anything else. It could be the case that Manoj has a power cut, but that has not been proved in the given information. So we cannot consider that. So here neither conclusion 1 nor conclusion 2 would be the leading answer for it. So none of them follows is the correct answer. I hope this is clear. Now these kind of questions are asked in your CSAT prelims. So it's really important to practice these questions carefully and have a good understanding about the concepts. The complete lectures for your CSAT prelims too are available in the description below. So do follow. Have a wonderful evening ahead.